Hello, geometry students. So today we are going to add to our notebook again. We are going to look at rotations using a physical manipulative, and we're going to get into more specifics than we had covered before. So at the top of your page, you're going to write down, since today we're talking about rotations, so we're going to write down the word rotation. An example of a rotation, if I'm looking at it in simpler terms, what's a word I could help myself, help me to remember what the rotation means. And for a lot of people, maybe you think of just as a term. Okay, so again, what we're going to do today is we're going to add a physical manipulative to our notebook. So what you're going to need for today is you're going to need the graph paper I handed you, the transparency I handed you as well, along with the brass fastener. You're going to need 2 different colored writing utensils. You're going to need some type of permanent marker like a Sharpie, and then a glue stick. Okay, so what we're going to do first, I'm going to take these off so I have some space here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to tape or glue our graph paper to our notebook, probably in about the middle spot here. So again, we're going to use our glue. Again, if you'd rather use tape, you're more than welcome to do so. And please place it on the graph paper so that you have the initial side. That ray is pointing to the right, and it is going horizontally. So horizontally to the right. Okay, so there's step 1. We're attaching our graph paper. So step 2, I have already poked a hole through the middle of your, through the center of your transparency. Looks like the center of your circle. So you're going to take your brass fastener and you're going to poke it through the center so it looks like this. And then you're going to poke a hole through your paper at the origin of your graph paper. So you can use a pencil or a pen, or if you're struggling, I have the stylus end of my compass. I can use that to poke a hole for you if you like. And then what you're going to do is take your transparency and brass fastener, push it through the hole, the center there at the origin, and then you're going to flatten it on the back of the page. So you're going to flatten your brass fastener on the back. Okay, so now if you're looking at this, again, we can rotate our transparency. Okay, so next step is you're going to take a writing utensil. You can use whatever color you like. It's up to you. And you're going to peel forward your transparency, so like this. And I'm gonna, just so we're all consistent, we're going to draw a triangle in the first quadrant. Remember, that's this first quadrant here. And we're going to make our ordered pairs, how should I put this? Natural numbers, because we want them in the first quadrant. That means they're both positive. And again, I want the triangle to be covered by the transparency when I replace it on the page here. So again, however you like. So I'm going to call this, and again, you're going to label your points. One of them is going to be A. Okay, one of them here is going to be point B, and then one over here is going to be point C. And then so that we are accurate in our pictures, I want you to then use a ruler, and I should have said we need a ruler as well today. I want you to use a ruler to draw in your triangle by connecting your points. Please be neat, because if you are sloppy, it might make reading your points after we do a rotation a little more complicated for you. So again, there is my triangle. So again, I drew it in the first quadrant. Your points do not have to be at the exact location of mine, but again, you're going to draw it in the first quadrant, okay? And then we're going to replace the transparency. Okay, next, we are going to take our permanent marker. So I have a Sharpie here, and we're going to trace our triangle on top of the transparency. Please make sure your terminal side and your initial side are overlapping. Okay, so again, there, I'm going to make my points, and then again, I'm going to use my ruler so I am neat. And we're tracing again over the triangle. Again, do the best that you can. Again, if you're accurate, it'll make your end conclusions a lot easier for you. Okay. And one final side here. Okay, so notice when I move it, I can see my triangle rotating. Now, since if we're thinking back to our vocabulary, my original triangle that I drew is my pre-image, and this one that I traced would be my image. So I'm going to label my 3 points not just A, B, and C, but A prime, B prime, and C prime. So notice we can actually physically see the rotation that is occurring. Okay, now what we're also going to do before we continue here is label our graph. So this is why you need, I asked you to have 2 colors. So I'm going to use blue and purple. It's up to you. So let's pick one color to start with. At the bottom, we're going to make a little key here. So let's just think that I'm going to do blue. I'm going to go counterclockwise. So blue is going to be counterclockwise. So if I label my picture, if I didn't move it at all, if I just in my starting position, this is 0 degrees. Okay. If I rotate my terminal side up to the top, again, notice I'm going in a counterclockwise motion. So again, if I move it up to the top here, this would be 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, and again, if I go back to 0 and I rotate it all the way over here, notice over here on the right, on the left, I'm at 180 degrees counterclockwise. And continuing on here, if I start at 0 and I rotate all the way down to the bottom here, I'm at 270 degrees counterclockwise. And then finally, if I start here at 0 and I go a full circle around, I'm at 360 degrees counterclockwise. Now again, most of the time, you'll notice in class we're going to talk about it in terms of counterclockwise motion, but we could go clockwise. So at the bottom, we're going to pick up our other color, and we're going to write now we're going in clockwise. Okay, so 0 is still 0, no matter which direction we're going. Now, if I'm going clockwise, that means I'm going downward like this. So here, where it was 270 counterclockwise, that's also 90 degrees clockwise. Again, if I start at 0 and I move over here to the left, I moved 180 degrees clockwise, which is the same as 180 degrees counterclockwise. And then continuing on here, if I start at 0 and rotate around up to the top here, I have moved 270 degrees clockwise. And then last, if I start here at 0 and I move all the way around here, I'm going to be at, again, 360. So 0, 180, and 360 go either way, clockwise or clockwise or counterclockwise will be at the same location. Okay, so once we have this situated, you're going to begin the activity. So the focus for this particular activity is for you to be able to picture, graph, and then hopefully eventually come up with the rule for the rotations. So again, the activity is going to walk you through it. You're going to label your 3 points on your paper. Then you're going to do and the paper focuses on counterclockwise motion, but again, notice 90 degrees counterclockwise is going to be the same as 270 clockwise. So again, you're going to rotate it 90 degrees. You're going to identify your coordinates for A prime, B prime, C prime. See if you can make a connection to the original triangle. Then you're going to do it, start at 0, and again, do 180 degrees counterclockwise rotation about the origin. And again, you're going to identify your 3 points, A prime, B prime, C prime, and again, hopefully trying to find a relationship. Then you're going to do that again for 270 counterclockwise, and then finally for 360. And again, hopefully this will help you picture the movement. Again, we're focusing on rotating about the origin, and hopefully, again, you can come up with a rule. And if you have questions, please let me know.